So I wanted to share some interesting tidbits about Dark Sense today. Uh, this was going to be something mainly about Dark Sense, but it kind of got hijacked with a little bit more of the activation aspect of it and less of like the utility of it. Um, the perk itself is pretty simple. We'll get more into it. I know I have a bunch of clips here. Um, This first one just shows how it works, and I'll try to explain it while it's working, but basically, after we complete this generator, right down here, it activates, and then as a killer approaches you and comes into 24 meters, um, his aura will be shown, and you'll see here it counts down 10 seconds, and then after that, it will deactivate. Pretty simple perk, it's not that good, but um, this is the second clip, and I just kind of wanted to show, and this kind of like led into like this rabbit hole of like, well, what is this? So there is no killer aura. He's not behind me. There's no thing, but the wraith's right there. What? So undetectable does not affect it at all. And then this was back when I was trying to figure out like, oh well, you can extend the aura, just to make sure leave no stone unturned type of stuff. But I think everyone kind of knows this. It kind of seems like unnecessary, but whatever. And then even then, like I wanted to show open handed because I knew it wouldn't work, but you have to like make sure that we know for sure it doesn't work. But as you can see, it should activate. It's 60 meters, so it should have activated by now because I'm in the 32-meter terror radius, but it's not until he's 24. But now this is actually where the interesting tidbits come in. Um, it was a while ago. I'll actually probably splice it in here if I can. But during the anti-camp changes, I know that they had the ability to see the killer's aura after you get unhooked. It was anti-camp. It was anti-tunnel changes. You could see the killer's aura, and then you know, no matter what, it would show up as a white aura. The ones that you cannot block. And with that, like I kind of started messing around with it. I kind of wish I did more with it because now that I know more killers actually do utilize it, it or more killers actually don't work the way I thought they did. I could have had more fun with it, but demo like is the first example here. Um, when a killer comes in the 24 meters, even if they're going by, he's kind of like the bread and butter of this. So he's straightforward. He's perfectly in line with me. I'm looking right at him, and then he's gonna teleport behind me back by the where normally outside gen goes in that little walkway. So we'll see that, and turn around, and then you'll see it actually activated right here. And then you'll see his aura, which is that's a cool little interaction. And then I'm like, okay, let's see these other killers. So I started thinking like, oh well, Freddy can teleport to the gen. Does his model count as that? Because technically, like he's not there until then, so it didn't activate. And then actually did it actually used Freddy again on this next clip. He's gonna go between me and a generator like behind the wall. Not this one right here. He's gonna go back there, kind of like demo. You can, you probably could have heard it. I'm talking over it, but it just happened. It didn't work. Didn't activate, so it does not work. This one is Spirit. This one actually does work. So you can see we hear the phasing, and it activates and shows her Huss aura. Which if she's in, you can't really use it to. It doesn't show you anything. Oh, she's coming from this direction, which could be helpful, I guess. And then I just wanted to show that the husk itself. So now she's gonna go back, and I'm gonna go up and then try to look at her, but you're gonna see that it doesn't work, right? Because it's not her. This one, I believe, is the twins. Um, yep. So Victor's gonna come up here. He's gonna be like, "Yo, what's up?" And then nothing's gonna happen because it doesn't matter. And if it would have activated, it would, you would see in the bottom right the little countdown meter, and then Victor is off somewhere else on the map, and it's just Charlotte, and then you can see her aura here, which is weird because like I always thought she was undetectable, but it's actually not the case. Which maybe I just never noticed it. I guess I never really used aura reading perks on her. Now we're gonna do Pinhead. Pinhead doesn't teleport, but I think of it like the nurse's logic or knight's logic. So we're seeing his chain gate here, but it didn't work. So he's just right there. That didn't work. He can also use his lament configuration to teleport across the map. So Dwight here it's gonna take a second because I was doing this by myself. So that's why I got crows. But he's gonna do that.
Summoned me.
And he didn't come. He never showed up. Didn't work. He was back there. Like I said, they're always going to be going through Meg to get there. This one's Hag. I wanted to see, just to make sure. I know it doesn't work, but I want to make sure for sure, because a lot of times you think you know how something works. Like, look at it shows the terror radius and does this, and you're like, well, that counts for a second. And then now Dwight's gonna go activate. She's like behind that wall, and then Dwight's gonna go activate it, and she's gonna teleport. And then nothing, right? So didn't work. That's sad. Doctor's hallucinations. It's it's probably not gonna or probably not gonna work. I know it doesn't work, but I knew probably it wasn't gonna work. But just making sure again. It's kind of cool to see that. Sadako 2. And this is kind of like where it started getting like, I'd be like, okay, this didn't work, so this wouldn't work. So Sadako didn't work. So she teleported through me to a TV in the back over there. Or actually it's the TV in the corner. And then this is Night? No. Unknown, I think, right? No. Oh, this is Dredge. Okay. Yeah, so Jeepers. So yeah, Dredge, he actually was above me, and he went down to the locker over there, and that actually didn't activate. Curious enough, but it's fine. That did not work the way I thought it would. But I actually kind of did a secondary one for this. You're gonna see him plop on this locker here in a second, and that's interesting enough because he does not manifest until he's in the locker, which is interesting. Night. I know. I thought this one would work because there used to be a visual bug where the knight would show up and then the guard would show, and they fixed that. But I thought that it would work like Spirit, except it would always teleport him back. And then we did the guard action. That didn't work either, obviously. He's not, it's not a teleporting killer, but again, like just seeing like the stuff work. And then I walked into him while he was activating it, and it showed him. So this one's Singularity. You're gonna see him pop up in that doorway. He's behind me. He's gonna pop up on Dwight over there. Didn't work. So he's legitimately teleporting, right? He's not zooming. He's just teleporting. So there you go. I actually think this one's like I think this one's not useful. I tried doing it where he would like zoom. I was like testing it out, but like, it was really hard. Like the distance that he can. I actually didn't know he had a limit on how far he could shoot. I thought he could shoot forever, but I thought maybe okay, the pod's 16 meters. Maybe he goes from the pod to Dwight. So if he comes from the pod, it'll activate. And I had like set it up perfectly, but it didn't work. So I'm gonna just assume it doesn't work. If anyone can get any of these to work that don't work, I would be really interested. Alien, you're gonna see here this turret's 24 meters, so you're gonna see it actually straight up activate as soon as it, so he's actually under us, and it works, right? It's cool. And we're gonna see him come up in this control station here. Awesome. Uh, a lot of people, a lot of Alien mains know this probably, but like, uh, Nurse Calling is actually used quite a bit with some cheeky players because you could use it to find them exactly where they're healing for resets and stuff like that, which is, you know, I like that sort of stuff. It works. Um, I knew that, and I knew that was gonna work. But this one was unknown. I just want to see if the hallucination works. It doesn't. I'm just gonna touch it. I like touching it. And now this one surprised me. So he's gonna teleport from behind me, or he's gonna teleport from, I think, from here to behind me. I'm not sure, but sure enough, right? Like you're gonna see in a second here, it worked, right? Like he, for a second, I had his terror radius, and he showed up here. That to me is like very impressive. Not impressive, but like I didn't think that was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna be like Singularity, where like he just appears where the hallucination is, but he actually does zoom across the map. And we'll get a little bit more into that later. I just want to finish up with these. So you're seeing armor here. I understand the Lich does not have a teleport ability, but the Hand of Vecna is a teleport ability. So this one took quite a while to do. Because there are a lot of maps that have a lot of lockers that go anywhere, and this is the only map that like has locker dead zones that I could try to curate a way to like have the killer position in a way. So he's like in a back corner, and then his radius uh intersects with two locker points. And basically it was just me for like 2 hours trying to get that point, and this was the closest I got to it. So you're gonna see, that it's working. I actually had healed myself a lot. I actually brought still sight to like make sure that like those points intersected, but this is like the closest I could get because I'm not sure if it's how it actually works, but I think with Vecna, like you can't teleport into a locker near him. Like it's impossible. Like it has to be a certain like amount of meters away from him. But like it took forever to do this. But or I don't know what it is. Like it's such a weird setup. But this actually did. So you'll see here, and then I'll stop it right here. He's over here somewhere, and this is like the straight line from the shack to Meg here, and his radius is actually perpendicular here. I should have used still sight to like prove that, but like it didn't work. And I had spent like so much time on this, but I did try it a little bit longer. Um, but I did try it again, and it just like this one like complete like for some reason he just spawned near him, and I didn't know this locker was here. So I kind of screwed up there, but so now this one is Dracula. Um, like this is stuff that will like never like this will never matter in the game, but like it just interesting to see how the teleports work and to see which ones actually like work or which ones are actually like fully there as you go from one side of the map to the other. He's got a really short teleport. It's his bat form. He's actually right next to the RPD desk, barely out of range, and then he's gonna teleport to the window near the back fire staircase here. Not the one up there, the one down there. And that spot, you're gonna see at the end of it, but he is not in my range. He's gonna fly through it though, and it's gonna activate. There it is. And then I switch out of bat form, and you'll see Dark Sense activate for a second. Still sight's still active, so they're both in the same range. So you see how he just disappears like that. So I did not move. That's how it works. I don't know what this one is. Oh yeah, okay. Hound Master. Yeah, I mean this one, you know, it's funny. I aimed for like the generator Meg was standing right next to, and that dog just zoomed. And now we're gonna do the rush too, which kind of made me think that like maybe the part where you control might actually be it, but like you cannot get close enough without being in 24 meters. Um, this one is obviously Freddy. You're gonna see him right here. This one, this one did work surprisingly. No spoilers, but you're gonna see it activate, and then he's gonna actually, I actually have a few with him, but you're not gonna see his aura because he's undetectable when he leaves the door. So, um, and just in case people didn't know, you actually teleport yourself through the door. Um, so we're gonna basically take the alternate path with him, and he's standing under that hook where I was last time, and you're gonna see it worked. Look at that, he's standing right there. Um, and now we're gonna see if the camera works. So he's standing in the back area somewhere. Yep, right there. We'll even reveal him just for science. And you can see Dark Sense did not activate right down here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It didn't work. And then this one, I just wanted to see. I wasn't sure how the doors worked, but I think this is like an insta teleport. So you can do two things. So if you pick a door Freddy's going to, he's gonna catch you. If he picks a door you're coming from, he's gonna catch you. Um, so this is actually an instantaneous thing because as soon as I pressed it, like you'll see, like I get immediately interrupted. Like I waited like a little bit for Meg to get to that point just to see, but like depending on no matter what you do, so like he'll pop up from that door, he'll pop up from that door. Um, sometimes if he does it early enough, he'll pop up from the door you first come through. So it does activate because you're both interacting. But it activates like right away. So that's interesting, right? That's cool. Um, yep. And then I don't know. Oh yeah. So kind of at the end of this, I mean, figuring out Dark Sense and like what it does is not that good of a perk, but it was cool to see how these teleports work. Um, th- this is something like I kind of figure like unknown mains haven't told anyone. It seems like a pretty decent like effect, but like yeah, because Fan of Fear is probably like that person's probably known for like always being on cooldown. But you're gonna see here, um, we're gonna use Phantom Fear to scare Meg here, and then if you mix that with like Lethal Pursuer, you can like cover a decent amount on the map and like find people. So his teleport actually works with Phantom Fear because he keeps his terror radius. Um, So yeah, he actually uses terror radius when he teleports. Um, so that's kind of all I have for that. The only thing I couldn't test because it's disabled currently is the decimated, not the decimated Borgo. It is the realm, right? Shattered Square is the map, and then the Forgotten Ruins. That does have a teleporting map, and I'm pretty sure I could try to do something like that to see if you're coming, like if you're teleporting to the door or if you're just moving fast to that door. But I couldn't do it because it's disabled even in private games. So, um, it's interesting, right? Like it's kind of like takes apart a little bit how the game works. The conclusion of this is like it's odd that like Dredge doesn't activate, but like Unknown does. Like I thought that would be the opposite. Um, some of them weren't that unsurprising. This doesn't really change a lot with the game, but like I said, this type of stuff like really interests me. I like thinking about like, well, does this work? Does this work? Sort of like how like with Deathslinger, like parental guidance counts as stunning him when he breaks his chain, which completely obliterates him, by the way. But then like two complete doesn't count because the devs just decided not to, and it would be a busted perk with that. But like stuff like that has always interested me. I always like diving into this. There's probably going to be more stuff like this. Maybe not necessarily with Dark Sense, but maybe with other perks and like unique things that happen or things that people don't know. But this is kind of the start of it, so hopefully people like this. Yeah. Thanks for watching.